Good evening, everyone. Tonight is the eve of the full moon partial eclipse. It's in the sign of Taurus, planetary ruler Venus, element Earth. Taurus symbolizes money, material possessions. These people are very strong, determined, honest, loving, practical, and so much more. So all of the attributes that are within Taurus are going to be with us through this eclipse and after. So enjoy this time. I'm here tonight for a special story. It's called The Calling. And it has something to do with Halloween. It has to do with mystery, horror, drama, and weird things. And I shall tell the story. This is a true story. In 2012, in April to be exact, I was wondering what I was going to be doing when this Michael Jackson series was over. I had been doing this since 2009, and I couldn't imagine what I would be doing if the illustrations were done and the book was done. What am I going to do? What project will I be able to work on? Because all I have been doing is this series. And I just sat back, looked out at the mountains, and a name came through me. Johnny Depp. Just like that. Johnny Depp. And I said, oh, here we go. Now I'm going after celebrities here. That's just great. One has passed and now this one's living, and I'm going to be following in the skirt tails of these people. Oh no. But yet, this was very serious. This calling was very clear to me. And you could say that it was a voice because I was listening. Didn't have any specific male or female gender. It was just something coming through me saying, the first thing that I asked was, is he going to die? And no. Is he going to be sick? No. Worse. Oh. Is going to have something to do with his reputation, his career, him as a person, and it will affect every area of his life. Now, this is in 2012. I'm asking, what do I do? Why me? What am I supposed to do? First of all, I don't even know this man. Second of all, he's a very private person. What the calling was that I had to reach out to this individual due to the fact that he was going to be in trouble in a profound way that none of us knew about, not even him. I couldn't for the life of me understand why this came through to me. I thought a lot about it, and I said, well, the only thing that I can do is through illustration, so I'll have to tell a story through illustration that will be a very awful good story, and it's going to have to reach him in some way. But I didn't do anything because I was in the middle of the series, so I just got a notebook and I started writing down ideas. Every time I'd get an idea, I'd write it down. And I'd just do a little journal because I knew I wouldn't be able to do a thing at least until the following year. So in April of 2013, while the book was being edited, I had some time. So I took out my journal and I looked over my notes. And I said, I think I'm ready to do a story. A story that only the artist himself would appreciate. A story that could reach him in some way and warn him. And I decided that this would be something that I would do for the next 3 months, because that's what it took, 3 months. So I'm going to tell you about how I came up with the story, and then in the end I'm going to show you the illustration. This illustration has never been seen. I think I've posted it twice, and I waited 10 years before I did it. And nobody knows anything about the story behind it. There's only one illustration, the original illustration, and that is not with me. And this is a G-Clay high-resolution print of the illustration. So let's start with, I had to decide how many characters I was going to use to tell my story. Because I knew that this story had to make an impact on him, and I had to get a message through to him that he had to think about certain things. And his career was one of the things that was said to me. Career. Reputation and career. So I thought of 9 characters that I had put down over this period of a year that I thought had a relationship to each other. And then I had to decide where I was going to put these 9 characters. And so I decided what best place to put the characters but in Sweeney Todd's barbershop. I mean, why not? That's a meeting place, right? And Fleet Street, London, perfect. So I look at a few photos of the barbershop, and I found one I really liked. And when you copy something, whether it's a person, place, or thing, and you draw it exactly the way you see it in a realistic format, that's called a rendering. An artist can choose to do it realistically as they see it, as it really is, or they can change it and make it modern. They can give it a creative touch, their own style, still a rendering. So I rendered a part of this room that I felt had a feeling to it and was large enough that I could put characters in it. So the Fleet Street Barbershop was the place. The first character was the main character, Mr. Sweeney Todd. He's the barber. So he's there, and in the barbershop there are two chairs. One chair is occupied with Mr. Sweeney Todd, and the other is a hair stylist. And behind that chair is Edward Scissorhands. After all, he trims. Am I correct? So we have Mr. Sweeney Todd, and we have on the other side hairstylist Mr. Edward Scissorhands. In the chair of Sweeney Todd, which he had a attraction to gentlemen well-dressed with top hats. Who better could fit that than Willy Wonka? So Willy Wonka, with his top hat and his ascot, well-dressed, is sitting in the chair of Sweeney Todd. And on the opposite side, who's having his hair cut, is the Mad Hatter. And as Edward Scissorhands is clipping, his red hair is flying. The Mad Hatter is sipping tea, for it is tea time. So we have a gentleman that's about to get his throat slit. And beside Sweeney Todd is Jack Sparrow. You see, he's coming in to talk to Mr. Todd about the fact that he needs to think about something here. He has something to show him. He has his magical compass. The compass that helps him make decisions, intervenes. So he wants to distract Sweeney Todd. So what he's doing, in essence, is he is talking the gab, trying to get his mind off slitting the throat of the victim, Willy Wonka. Now, in the middle of this is a character by the name of Barnabas Collins from the film Dark Shadows. You see, he's here because he can't stay away. After all, he's having a glass of wine. He's toasting. The wine is his wine because that's where he can get it. And he's having a wonderful time, enjoying everyone. And beside him is Ichabod Crane. You see, he's been called in because there's been a murder, basically murders. And they're wondering if there's something shady going on at this barber shop. So he's been called in. Now he is in the middle of the floor, and who greets him is Barnabas Collins, of which, if you know anything about Ichabod Crane, he's afraid of his own shadow. He is very meticulous in his work, and he's kind of very modern in his technique. But he is rather scared of his own shadow at times, and he's interested in murder, and he's interested in the headless horseman. But when you put him right into the whole scene, he's just his courage fails, and he's a little bit frail and weak. He could faint. So there he is looking at Barnabas Collins, and with the face of, oh my God, what am I doing? And he's got his basket. He's got his, not his basket, he's got his black bag with all his tools in it, because he's going to inspect the barber shop. But yet he's looking at Barnabas as if to say, what am I doing here? He's scared. His hair's almost sticking straight up. He's just, I cannot believe I'm seeing this person in front of me. It's not real. It can't be happening. Now, on the back of this barber shop is a wall. And on the wall are three things. A clock. Exactly 6 o'clock. Tea time from Alice in Wonderland. And on the opposite side is a framed piece of art, which at the times many people had these on their walls. They were paintings. They go back to I believe, the 18th century, of Tonto, Native American. So we have a beautiful framed piece of art of Tonto on the wall, and in the center is a window. It's called Secret Window, by which a man is staring into the window and looking at all of these characters in absolute amazement as to what he sees. His name is Mort. He was in Secret Window as the writer. And he's looking in and trying to imagine what he's seeing. He can't believe, he's just staring into the window. So there are your 9 characters. They're at the barber shop, and they're all there together. So how do they relate to each other? Well, I'm going to try to show you this and try to show you how they're relating to each other. I've already told you that Jack Sparrow is trying to get Sweeney Todd's mind off of what he's about to do. So he saves his life. You already know that the Mad Hatter is sitting to have his hair cut. His hat is in his lap. Now, if you remember Alice in Wonderland, his hat is a portal. And Barnabas Collins has got his backhand while he's toasting. He's got his backhand reaching for the portal of the hat that's sitting in the Mad Hatter's lap. Because you see, that portal, that hat is going to take him to the century he wants to be in, because he's misplaced. He's not in the world he wants to be in. He wants to be back when he was a man and not a vampire, and he was in love with this woman. So he doesn't want to be there. So he wants that hat. Now the golden ticket. Remember, there's a golden ticket here. And who deserves the golden ticket? Because that's Willy Wonka wants to give the golden ticket to someone. So that golden ticket, of course, is Edward Scissorhands. Why not? He deserves it. So in his little lapel is the golden ticket, right in Edward Scissorhands' pocket. You can see it on the just sticking out. Okay? So I'm going to try to show you this illustration. Now, before I do, I want to tell you the story about what happened to this illustration after I finished it. This lovely woman by the name of Louise was in North Conway, New Hampshire. She was my framer. And the day that I came in with this illustration, because she had seen the Michael Jackson, she said to me, "Donna, what do you have now?" And I said, "Louise, I have something a little different." She says, "It's my birthday today. I have chocolates and I have champagne, so sit down and enjoy my birthday." So it was just the two of us. So I said, "Okay, fine. This is great. This is wonderful." She said, let me see what you have." So I put down the illustration, and she looked at it and she said, "You have got to be kidding me." I said, "No, why?" She said, "I can't believe you did this." I said, "I can't believe I did it either. But this time I was asked to do it." She laughed. She said, "Donna, I love him." I said, "Well, most people do." She said, "No, I really love him." I said, "Well, yes, they do." She said, "But I've got to study this. I've really got to study this." So she looks at it, and she's looking around, and she's not getting all the messages, because only the artist himself. You see, that's it. I'm telling you. But when the artist sees this and he starts to see what's going on, only he who has played these parts is the only one that can truly understand what's going on here and feel it. She says, I have just the frame. Really? Yes, I do. I have a turn of the 19th century wooden frame that I have had for so long, and I've never known what to do with it. She said, it would be perfect with this. Perfect. She says, it's got a little dent here and a little scratch. I said, oh, that's good. That's good. I want it authentic. So she brings out this beautiful frame. And she said, we're going to mount it, because that's what you do. You mount it. And then we're going to double mat it, because I love everything double matted anyway. And we picked the different colors we wanted to go with the illustration and the frame. And because she's very talented, very, very talented, and she knows how to make everything perfect. And she said, Donna, what do you think? I said, that's beautiful. I love it. I said, but I want something else. She says, what else? I said, I want a plaque. She says, well, what kind of plaque? I said, well, can you give me something gold-plated? She said, yes. And I said, can I have it engraved? And she said, yes. And she says, what would you like it to say? I said, in honor and in tribute to the many characters in depth, Debbth. I love it. I said, can you do that for me? She said, absolutely. And so she took it. She had it for about 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. Now, you have to understand that I am very concerned about this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to send this. I'm very nervous about it. Very, very nervous. And I don't know how to send it. I don't know who to send it to or how to go about it. But I had a friend, also another producer, and he told me how to do it. He said to me, you need to send it to where his company is in Los Angeles, Infinitum Nihil, to his sister. And he told me exactly how to do it. Told me exactly the address, the whole thing. And I said, thank you so much for helping me. He said, no problem. Do you mind if take a picture? I want to see it. So I cannot do that. Why not? Because this is so private. He's such a private person. This is it's bothering me that I do this. So anyway, I got all the information and how to ship it. And I told Louise, I need plexiglass, the best plexiglass you have, because this is going across the country and I don't want anything to crack or break. So she got the best plexiglass that you could get, that was tinted and everything. And she used that as the glass. But before I go any further, I want to tell you about what happened while I was illustrating this. Because you have to understand, when you're illustrating, especially rendering, and I couldn't render all of these characters because I had to put them in association with each other. So I'd look at the character and I'd look at the makeup or the way they looked, and I wanted to make sure that their features were perfect and it looked just like him. But I couldn't render it because there was no picture that could render the way that I wanted my characters to be. So I had to take in all that information and then remember it and then draw it and then work on it individually to make it look like him. I'm looking to make sure that the features are showing that it looks like that character. So when you concentrate on a person's face for a long time, any one of these characters, sometimes something comes through you. So in the 3 months that I worked on this illustration, 3 subjects came to me that I needed to write about, which means I had to send a letter. This was an informational letter, strictly business. It was a letter that explained these 3 areas that came through very strongly. Number 1 was, yes, the career. But the second one was fatherhood. His being a father and how important that was and is. And the third is his soul. Oh, dear God. How am I going to, how? So as I was working, I would get the information that would come into me and through me, and I'd write it down, all about his career. And I'd write down about his fatherhood and what he needed to know and understand, and then his soul. And what came through for me was that his soul is Native American. And it really is. His soul is that of not a chief, but a warrior. Someone who in the tribe was very well respected. He could trap, he could hunt, he could do almost anything. He was so needed and loved and respected in his community, in his tribe. And he was just, I can't explain it. It was his soul is Native American. And so I wrote about that. And I put this letter together, addressing it to him and explaining why I was doing this, why these 3 areas were important, what may come, what could possibly happen. And even though I was going out on a limb here, I really wanted him to know that he was in trouble, and that through the illustration that would tell his story, maybe he would value his career and know that he's so important to us, and that he's here for a reason, and that he's of service to humanity. It's way bigger than just him. It's way bigger than just him being an actor or performer. It's that he's on this earth to do something, to leave a legacy through his work, to reach people through his work. And reach, in a way, humanity. And his job is very important more than anything. More than anything, his career is number 1. The second thing is his children. His children need him. No matter, I don't care how old they are, they're always going to need him. They're always going to want to know what his dad is doing. He's always going to want to be close to his dad, talk to his dad. He needs to know that once they're older, it's not as if, they're growing up now and I can do my thing. No. He, once a father, always a father, and he has to always make time for his 2 children. It's very important, let alone the small children that he obviously does. Jack Sparrow, and it's so cool. He dresses up and goes into the hospitals. That's wonderful. But no, this is something else. This is taking time out to go to dinner, to have family reunions, to be with his children. And the third, having to tell him that he has a Native American soul. My feeling about this was that if he understood his soul, his true soul, and he became one with that, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say this in words. If he had any dark side or anything that was a trauma or anything in his life, once he became one with his soul, it would release. Everything would release. He'd know who he was. He'd have a better understanding of because Native American people are very spiritual people and spirit animals. And it would change his whole perspective of himself. And once he knew himself, he'd be at rest, at peace. And this is what I tried to say to him. And so I wrote the letter, and the letter was put on the back of the frame. I taped it up there, and it said, to Mr. Johnny Depp. And that was it. Louise packed it up professionally for me. I mean, she packed it so protected. Had it all ready to ship. The address, everything. Brought it to UPS and said, okay, this I had to put insurance on this because it was now priceless. Between the frame and everything else that went with it, it was a priceless piece of art. And I took a couple of pictures of it on my easel, just so I'd have it. And it was shipped out in October, a little bit earlier than now, about mid-October. And I watched it go across the country. I tracked it. I had the tracking number. It was delivered. It was signed for by Stephen. And that was it. Done. I never heard a thing. No publicist. No manager. No editor. Nobody ever sent me a thing thanking me. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I know his sister must have gotten it. I know she would have showed it to him or said, this is somebody that sent you something. Here's a man who's being sent gifts constantly. Why would mine be so special? Why would mine be any different than what he's been given and sent all these years? But the biggest thing and most important was the letter, because the letter was warning him. The letter was everything he needed to know so that whatever was going to happen, he'd be aware. And maybe, just maybe, there'd be a divine intervention. Maybe it wouldn't happen. When I didn't hear, I got nervous because I knew what it was going to be. I didn't want it to happen. So the first time I reached out was in 2016. He was in the north end of Boston, and he was filming Black Mass. So I decided to go, because it was easy, 20 minutes, and go into the north end of Boston and watch and see if he showed up on the set. I had with me the tracking number. I had all the information on that package, including Stephen's name and a picture of it. I had it in a manila envelope. So I was there at the scene, and they were shooting, but Mr. Depp wasn't there. He was with Amber, and they were walking in Boston Garden, and he was in character as Whitey Bulger. That must have been a scene. Anyway, he wasn't there. However, I did talk to someone on his team, and I said, would you please, please, he says, well, can I see it? I said, sure. He went, well, this is important. I said, yes, it is. And I really need him to know if he's gotten it or not. I just need to know. Nope, no problem. So the young man took it, and that was it. I left. I watched for a while. It was amazing. And then I left. I still didn't hear anything. So I said, no, what did I say, 2014? Okay, I said 16. Okay, this was in 2014 with Black Mass. That's the first time I reached out. Sorry. The second time I reached out was 2016. He was performing for the first time with the Hollywood Vampires. And it was the first night, opening night, at a incredible casino in upstate New York. So I went. And I wanted to make sure that I had all of the same things so that I could present it to him or to someone that could give it to him as to whether or not he received this illustration. Well, I did see I think a policeman, and I believe it was a security guard. And I went up to him and said, "Do you think that you can help me? This has to go to Mr. Depp, blah, 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 blah." And I told them exactly what it was, and they wanted to see it. And they said, "Yes, we'll give it to him." I watched the show. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's great. But I never heard a thing. Not one thing. And now I'm seeing ads from Dior, and they're Native American. Sauvage. He's in the middle of a desert. Spirit animals. I'm saying, where is this coming from? Of all the ads that he could do, he's showing himself as a Native American. As a Native American soul, of a Native American. The whole thing is Native American. The whole theme is Native American. What? Did he read it? Did he get it? Did he know? Well, I kind of felt that may have been some connection, but I wasn't sure. So now it's 2019. I'm in Arizona, and he's performing in Scottsdale with the Hollywood Vampires. So Scottsdale was a jump, 10 minutes. I saw him in concert, but I couldn't get near him. I didn't have anything to show him. I didn't want to disrupt anything. I just didn't. I felt that we just wanted to see him and enjoy the whole band, all of them, and have a nice night. So I didn't go ahead and say anything or do anything. I finally reached out when COVID hit, because they had said that Mr. Depp finally had a social media site. He finally went on social media, on Instagram, and he did. And so I posted this illustration for the first time, hoping that someone that knew him would see it and they'd say something. You wouldn't believe what I just saw, or you wouldn't believe it. And I stated it. If you know him, of him, if you're close to him, tell him about this illustration. I wonder if he ever got it. Because he gets so many things, but this was different. This was different. This was a calling. It came from the divine. It came right through me, and I knew I had to do something about it. I've never gotten another calling again. No other celebrity, no other person since 2012, not one. Not one other person. So it had to be pretty important. Well, as you all know what happened, we all found out when the media covered what happened in the UK and then what happened here in the United States in Virginia. In Virginia, I got to hear all the dates. And every single time I heard a date, I knew exactly what I was doing and where I was and where he was and what was going through, what he was going through in his life and why I couldn't connect. Why there would be no way that I could connect because of the things that he was doing at the time and the people that he was with, that there'd be no way that he would reach out. There'd be no way that he would do that. It's just not important enough. He's going through other things, whether he's falling in love or falling out of love, or then there's some there's a lot of turmoil. So that's not the thing he's thinking of. But what hurt me the most, I think, I look back, is what he went through that I tried to stop. I know that seems pretty intense, but I did. I knew in 2012 he was in trouble. I tried everything I could to reach him. I don't know what happened. Anything could have happened. Somebody could have read the note and said, I don't want to give it to Johnny. It's too personal. He's with Amber. This could cause turmoil. Get rid of it. He never saw the note. So how would he know? Or he did. Where is it hanging? There is an illustration out there. It's a one of a kind. And there was a note, a letter, in 2013 that was sent out. There is proof out there that this does exist. I don't know about the letter. That could have been torn up and thrown away. Doesn't matter anymore. But I had to watch him go through it. I had to watch everything that I knew. The humiliation, the loss of the franchise, starting over in a way, being scared of his life, his children's life, a love that was so beautiful turning into something that was rather tragic. A beautiful, beautiful woman, one of the most beautiful women in the world, and one of the most handsomest men in the world, are together. They make a beautiful power couple. They had such a presence. What a shame. What a shame. In the meantime, I could see that he was healing, and I could see that he was doing okay. And that my hope was that the both of them would go on and do whatever they do. And, just do their thing and put it in the past and go on with their careers. That's what all of us want. That they both go on with their careers and that they find happiness. And they're of service. Both of them are of service to humanity. She's an actress. So that's all we want for them. So I came here tonight on this special night to share this story with you because it did happen to me. I did get this calling that he was in trouble. And I guess sometimes in life we have to go through what we have to go through in order for our souls to grow and for us to learn. Tough lesson. But we've all been through them, one way or another. And he had to go through his. No matter how much I tried to stop it, no much I tried to inspire him or do whatever, I couldn't stop it. But I tried. So, I'm going to show you this illustration. And hopefully I can get it for you to see this whole thing as I show this to you. I'm going to stand up doing this because I think if I can stand up, I can see it better. and I'm going to put on my glasses. Okay, so just give me a minute, okay, because I have to see what I'm showing you. Okay, all right, now. Okay, so let's start with over here. If you can back up, you can see there's the room, and there's Sweeney Todd. And he's got that razor ready. And he is ready to go. And there is Jack Sparrow. And he's got the compass. If you can see way in there, you're going to see his compass in his hand, trying to sway him not to hurt the person in that chair. Now, over here, we have Edward Scissorhands, and we have him going to town on the Mad Hatter with the golden ticket in his pocket, and then he's sipping his tea with the hat in his lap. Dead center. Barnabas. See the hand reaching for the hat? While he's raising a glass of wine. And the face on Ichabod Crane with his black case. There they are standing there. I'll pull it a little further back so you get to see the perspective here as this, see more and more of this as I pull it back. Now we go to the wall. There's Tonto. There's Secret Window, Mort. And there's the clock. 6 o'clock tea time from Alice in Wonderland. All of these characters are in this room, and each and every one of them has something to do with the other. They're all connected. They all are influencing each other in some form or manner. And they're all him, and he's looking at it. He's looking, and he's a serial killer. He is a serial killer looking in that window at these people. And that, my friends, is the one and only illustration of Mr. Johnny Depp. So, in conclusion, I dressed up tonight. Every Halloween, I dress as a witch. It's without fail. I have no idea why. It's not that I practice magic or that I do spells. That's not who I am. But there's some reason I must be a witch at Halloween. I always have done this. So I thought I'd come on with my witch costume so that you'd get to see me as a witch. In the meantime, I also want to say that the next time I come on, I believe I'm going to be talking to you more about the archangels and about my readings. So you get to know exactly what I'm doing, how I do it, so that you'll have a better understanding. And I may pull a few cards for the collective. In other words, I'm not going to pull cards for signs because I don't read that way. It's an individual situation, one-on-one, and I can't, it has nothing to do with the zodiac signs. So if I pull some cards, if whatever the energy is, it's going to be for everyone. So that is how I'll have to do it. And it's just be like it's a fun thing to find out what's going on and pull the energy and to see what the archangels have to say to all of us to be aware of in a general sense, that's about the best way I can describe it. And then I'll talk a little bit more about private readings and all of that. I will still be doing these videos and talking about different things. And I'll ask you to comment about what you see or feel, any questions. And if you want to ask me a question, I'll read your comments and I'll take one of your questions and I'll answer it. I won't say your name, but I'll answer it when I come back on if it's something that's important to you or something that you want to know or something, a question that you have. I'd be more than happy to answer it. Please share, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Also, you'll find me, as I told you, you'll find me on Facebook under Donna J. Massa. You'll see me in archangels, holistic archangel readings and astrology. That's another thing, is I know astrology. So I can, every once in a while, give you an idea of what's going on. One of the biggest things that y'all have to think about here, and I believe I've put out some type of, couple of things I've put out on, and you've heard a lot of the family, I call them family, the people who read tarot and the psychics, and everybody is just one big family of healers. They've been talking about it. And this is Pluto is going to be shifting and changing into another sign. This is huge, everyone. This is big. Huge. And the last time that it was in Aquarius, it's going into Aquarius. And you know all the things that Aquarius means. They're humanitarian, they're advocates, they're activists, justice. It goes on. They're also a fixed sign. And fixed means they're difficult to move. Well, they can be stubborn. We can. Only if we know we're right. Otherwise, we'll have no argument. In the meantime, it's going to come into Aquarius in 2024 in January. And it stays in there for 30 years. Now, the last sign was Capricorn. This is going to be a huge shift for all of us. And many, many things are going to take shape. And the last time that it was in Aquarius, these are just American history dates. Think about the world and what was going on in the world. 1776 to 1798 in this country. What happened? Well, you're going to see a boost in technology. You could probably see a new energy, a type of energy. Electric cars, all kinds of things. Things that you can't even, inventions. Everything, hopefully, will get better. Maybe things will straighten out a little bit. What isn't good? What's bad? What's the lower energies? Will dissipate. And we as a collective will rise. Because it can't stay this way. And Aquarius, with this placement, most likely it won't. The people that are directly affected by this are Aquarians. And it just doesn't mean having an Aquarius sun sign. That means being born under Aquarius. It means that if you have Aquarius anywhere in your zodiac chart, natal chart, these are your main planets, that's going to have an effect on you. So you could have an Aquarius moon, or Venus in Aquarius, or Jupiter in Aquarius, or Saturn in Aquarius. But wherever you have Aquarius, that's where it's going to hit hard. Then Your other air signs, your fellow air signs like Libra and Gemini, they're air signs. So when you have Aquarius, which is an air sign, with Pluto, then it's going to have an effect on the other air signs. So Gemini and Libra will benefit by this as well. All of us will benefit. But the element is air, intellectual, futuristic. So that is what we'll be talking about. And I hope you enjoyed this story. Mr. Depp, wherever you are, I hope you got the illustration. And I'm glad to see that you're working, that you're doing wonderful things, and that you will continue to grace the screen with your presence, and that you will continue serving humanity, and that you will leave a legacy for your children and for all of us. So I say to you, I would like you to meet my kitty, but I don't know where he is. I'd love you to meet Mr. Riff. Mr. Riff is a black Norwegian forest cat. He's a year and a half. He's a Pisces. He's a character. I don't know where he is. Just hold on. Mr. Riffy, come over here and see Mommy. Come on. I want you to see everyone. Come over here. Come over here. Come on. I can't get him. He won't come. I can't believe it. Come here, baby. Come over and say hello to everyone. I mean, he's traditionally all black with green eyes. He's perfect for Halloween. It's his time. He doesn't even want to get up. Riff ain't coming. Ignoring me completely. If I had a treat, though. See? If I had a treat. Mr. Riff, look what I've got. Look. Look what I've got. Here, look. Sleeping. Could care less. All right, well, good night, everybody. And gonna have a wonderful Halloween. And enjoy. And this partial eclipse in Taurus, this is going to be with us for a while. Money, money, money makes the world go round. Bye.